Well, we can begin. Today's meditation is about happiness, and it's one that you can really enjoy just sitting back and relaxing each moment. So get yourself comfortable, and if there are any distractions, any noises in any of our backgrounds, that's fine. It can just remind you to relax even more. So when you're ready and you're sat comfortably, take a nice deep breath in and breathing all the way out. Breathing all the way in. And this time, as you breathe out, close your eyes. And one nice deep breath all the way in, filling your stomach and slowly breathing out. And now focus your attention on all of those little tiny muscles around your eyelids and feel them relaxing even more. Letting go of any tension. Just imagine your eyelids relaxing until you know you've relaxed your eyelids so much that they're just so comfortable and relaxed. And now it's time to spread that wonderful feeling throughout your whole body. Starting with all of the muscles in your face, allowing that feeling to spread to them as they relax, as they let go. And now allowing that feeling to spread and float down to your shoulders, elbows, and all the way to your fingertips. And every muscle that feeling touches on the way just relaxes and simply lets go. And now that feeling spreads all the way to your knees and down to your toes, until every part of you is just as relaxed as it can be, until it's as if you're like a rag doll. And if I did lift up your arm and let it go, it would just flop all the way down. And now I want you to keep those eyes closed, but open your imaginary eyes and imagine what you might see. And close those imaginary eyes. And each and every time you close those imaginary eyes, allow a feeling of peace to wrap around you, just like a blanket. Opening those imaginary eyes again, getting a sense of what you might see, and closing them. Again with that feeling wrapping around you, just so peaceful and just so comfortable. One more time, opening those imaginary eyes and closing them again. Feeling twice as relaxed now, twice as peaceful. And you've done so well in relaxing your whole body. So now it's time to relax your mind. And you can do that by imagining the letters of the alphabet in front of you. Just imagine them one letter at a time and make them smaller and smaller and smaller. Turn down the brightness, turn down the colour so they get darker and darker and darker. And if there is any noise attached to those letters, turn that volume all the way down until they completely disappear altogether. There was once a balloon that floated free. It loved to float higher and higher in the sky. And can you imagine that balloon, bright, with its string down below? And as it lifted itself above the trees, it loved being near the clouds, and it loved being free. And one day, as it floated along by the trees, it was spotted by a child who wanted it. Their parent reached and reached, but they couldn't get it. So they got a nearby ladder, and when they climbed to the top, they could reach the string. The balloon hadn't noticed what was going on and was a little shocked at being pulled down out of the sky. It found itself unable to float away, and the end of the string was now weighed down under a stone. The brightly coloured balloon pulled and tugged at the string as a way to break free. It was scared and angry that this had happened, and it pulled harder and harder, even though the harder it pulled, the more stuck it was. In a nearby garden, right at the bottom of the garden, where nobody went, there was a small hole, a den, where some little fox cubs lived, next to a tall tree. And it was the first day that these cubs were allowed out, and they were excited to say the least. The first cub ventured out, and it was not impressed. It saw that it was dull, and it was still cold, and it did not like all the noises. No, it was not impressed. The second cub left the den, taking a few steps. It was pleased at how the sun warmed its fur. It enjoyed the way the ground felt on its paws, and it could smell all number of interesting smells. And as it described all these new things that it liked about this new outside world, the first cub was amazed. That was not at all what they were experiencing. They were seeing the grey in the sky and feeling the chill in the air. Which is funny because there are so many things in life that you can be happy about. And you can choose to be happy in each moment, because happiness doesn't come from things, it comes from within. It's not a goal that you hope for, it's a choice in each moment, and this one, and this one. And you have the power to choose happiness. The first cub stood still and noted all that was wrong with the place, while the second cub pounced around merrily. It looked at the first cub and asked, "Why don't you just step out of the tree's shadow and into the light?" And as the cub stepped into the sun, it could feel its warmth like a hug, and it felt the grass beneath its paws, and it smelt all number of new smells. The cubs played happily for many hours. And after all those efforts to be free, they didn't work, and the balloon became peaceful and began to breathe, to calm itself down, so it could look at the situation in a different way, with clarity. Instead of being fearful and moving away, it focused on what it wanted, to be free. And finally then it saw that the stone was in a funny position, and that if its string was pulled, it would never be free. Yet, if the rock was knocked off balance, with one small push, it would easily roll off the string. And so, soon enough, the bright balloon was floating higher and higher again, free to do as it wanted. Just take a nice deep breath and wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. And when you're ready, just open your eyes with that new ability and that new awareness that you can choose happiness. And before you go, I want you to ask yourself, how do I want to feel? And ask yourself that as often as you want to through the day. You might get different answers, and it's always good to find out exactly what you're wanting to feel. So have a wonderful week. Goodbye.